Well, hello everybody. We are at the most special kitchen once again. This is my mother Janice. We are in her kitchen, and what are we doing today?
Oh my goodness, are we going to have fun? But hey, you're back. It's so nice to have you with us again. We've got something really fun to do today. I have to tell you, when I was growing up, my mother really had to stretch the dollar, and I mean stretch the dollar. She'd go to the store and maybe she'd pick up some soup bones and a carrot and some, I don't know, onions, whatever was on sale, of course, and she would come up with a feast. Well, her little voice still rings in my head. Figlia mia, a penny saved is a penny earned. Pennies make dollars. And then she'd get that look. You know, the one that they give you if you're wiggling in church when you're about 5 years old and the sermon is droning on and on. After that look, you don't move. So with that look, she'd say, waste not, want not. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
We are going to tell you 5 things to do with that old stale bread that you'd be tempted to throw out. Don't throw it out. We're going to show you 5 great things to do with it to save that money and save that bread. And the first thing that we are going to show you how to do with that old stale bread is make breadcrumbs out of it. You don't have to buy those at the store, and Janice here is going to show you how to do that in just a snap.
Hey, did your mom have one of these? If you're over 40, she probably did.
Describe what this thing is for those who don't know.
This is a Tupperware bread keeper. And I don't know if they still make them, but if you happen to go to your thrift store and you see one, they're the greatest. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Now, of course, you can use hamburger buns, hot dog buns, anything you've got left in the fridge that is stale, past its prime. Doesn't matter if it's sourdough, doesn't matter if it's wheat, white, and even gluten-free. We're going to have some gluten-free bread here. So for those of you that have been paying an arm and a leg for gluten-free breadcrumbs, forget that, because we're going to put some of those on here too.
And this is just a baking tray that you're using?
This is just a lip. Yes, get one with a lip, because if you put it on a cookie sheet, it might crumb all over your oven. So,
okay, so easy enough. Now, do you put anything on it? Do you put butter or oil or anything like that?
No, you want it to just dry out. And
okay.
Set your oven at 300, and about 15 minutes, you're going to have bread ready to go into the...
Oh my, look at this. This looks like something that I might pick up at the thrift store. This wonderful old food processor. Okay, well, let's get these in the oven, and then we will show what to do with these right here.
All right, we're ready with our bread from the oven. But here's another little tip that I do. Sometimes you don't want to take your machine out just for a few pieces of bread. So I go ahead and I dry it, just stick it in a zippy, put it in the back of the refrigerator, and then when you've got a bag full, you can work on it. So this is some bread, and you can see, boy, it's really the dog's dinner here with all these different kinds of bread. But, you know, that kind of gives flavor to those crumbs, to that various type of bread. So we're going to use this old guy, And yes, I did buy it used. I bought it at a fundraiser in Placentia, California at El Dorado High School. So if any of the alumni from that school are listening or watching, you better check in those comments. So we'll do this and save your ears.
Those breadcrumbs looked fantastic.
Well, they're ready to go for your meatballs, meatloaf. Let's see, you can bread, chicken, fish, you name it. And you can also season them and make a nice coating for whatever your taste buds call for. But hey, let's talk about those other ideas about saving money and making delicious dishes out of.
Well, this is one that we've done before. We can make croutons out of that old stale bread, and you might remember we made croutons in an air fryer. It is my favorite way of making croutons. It is so easy, and I'm gonna put a link to that video in the description below so you can see exactly how to do this.
Hey, and come Thanksgiving, or really any other time of year, how about stuffing?
Stuffing is a great way to use that leftover bread. It was probably one of the original ways to use leftover bread, is to create stuffing out of it. And you know, you can't have Thanksgiving without stuffing, or just any other time. If you like that, let's say Stouffer's stuffing, but you want maybe your own, you want sourdough or gluten-free, that is a great way to use that leftover stale bread. Super, super easy to make. A fourth way to use that leftover stale bread, and you probably saw this one coming. I saw this coming ever since I was a child, and my mom demonstrated this, is French toast. When I was a kid, my mom would make French toast out of all manner of bread ends. They might be hot dog buns or hamburger buns, whatever we had left over, it doesn't matter, trust me. We've made a video on this before. French toast is so easy to make. You don't have to buy it out. I mean, really, if you can just take some bread and plop it in some eggs and milk and sizzle it up, you can make French toast. And of course, you can make it from any type of bread that you want. Rye bread, or buttermilk bread, or potato bread, or in my case, gluten-free bread. It is so easy. French toast is wonderful. And again, I'll put a link to that video in the description below so you can see exactly how to do it. It is so easy, so sweet, so tasty.
I think we're down to number 5, and it's a good one.
I think we are. The fifth way to use that leftover stale bread is bread pudding. Another classic way to use old bread, and a lovely way. You might recall we actually made bread pudding not so long ago in that Cuisinart Egg Central that I reviewed, that crazy thing I found at the thrift store where it steams it. You can make it that way, or you can make it the classic way in an oven, even a toaster oven. Again, it's such a good way to use that leftover bread. And bread pudding is just one of those comforting, classic desserts that's delicious, and you can tailor to your taste. Again, I'll put a link to that video in the description below. You can check it out, or you can just pop it in a toaster oven and you can have some bread pudding. Delicious. So those are 5 fantastic ways to use that leftover bread. Of course, they're not the only way. How do you use leftover bread? We want to hear from you. Put it in the comments below. Let us know how you use your leftover stale bread.
Now, if you looked at this video and you thought, gosh, is it really worth a couple of bucks here to save on some breadcrumbs? I can go buy panko, I can go buy Progresso, and those of you that are outside the United States, I'm sure you have brands similar to those. Well, you can, but let me ask you this. So you spend $4 or $5 on breadcrumbs. you could instead make yours. Because if you saw $4 or $5 laying on the floor of a store, by golly, you'd bend down and you'd pick it up. So just remember, every time you think, it's just $4 or $5, you'd pick it up.
Okay, trivia time. You're going to start to see a theme here, but the answer to last week's trivia question is indeed butter/gnocchi paddles. And well, again, if you're following along, this is going somewhere, but that is indeed what those boards are used for, is for getting that butter together or making gnocchi. Boy, doesn't that sound good. That's going to be a future episode. Okay, for this week's kitchen tool trivia, boy, we've got something special. This is a part of something, so that's a hint for you. What do we have, Mom?
Last time you were here with me in my kitchen, you saw the drawer. Let's check out what we've got today in the drawer. I know you've got one of these drawers. Don't act like you don't have one of those drawers. You've got one of those drawers.
What do we have? Oh boy, what could this thing be? If you know what this is, or you have a guess, put it in the comments below, and I will, of course, let you know the correct answer in the next video. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you once again, Mom, for filming, for indulging me. I only had to fly 2,000 miles again to be here in this kitchen, and oh, it was so worth it. Thank you again, and until next time, I hope you want to cook.
Be good to yourselves.